going to be Foxhound versus Ultron coming in second on 30.
Success there. Some of our friends, including like Spartan.
Oblivione, who unfortunately...
A trio of strategists behind them, the healing wasn't there. Still Vice down to Vanguard are able to get themselves the first cap, but Dawncore are paid for their patience, and the dividends are coming in strong with an instant retake.
Yeah, Dawncore really did build this composition with things like that Venom in mind. They've got the Bookie to be able to Bionic Hook. They've got the Invisible.
Had means of getting themselves back onto terra firma, cancelling the momentum via Scourge Grenades, Dark Teleportations, and just the slow falling of Magneto, aided by those metal-soled shoes.
Invisible Boundary is not going to be up either to put a stop to Sapatic with this final judgment. Vice are going to have to sacrifice point percentage to take a little bit of damage and build up Baby Bat's ultimate before they properly push on through. They can't open up with the amplification of the Fate of Both Worlds, and Sapatic is munched on final judgment and all. Froston does have that Kraken impact, might also be able to find a hook. Oh my goodness, the pick onto Oligator off of the Force Physics grabbed in by Legend was so clean, and Vice now don't have the Jeff bubbles to get a better distance anymore. So we go over to Frozen Ethel, which has a little bit more verticality and provides some good off angles for those Monstro spawns to put pressure onto Dawncore's backline.
Yeah, there's going to be plenty of administrative throughput to try and take them down, though, with the amount of bullets that can be pushed out of the bow for Punisher and a Winter Soldier. But it's Baby Bat who strikes first. Ice manages to pierce into the cranium of a Flora Colossus and create a casualty there as Froston considers disengaging. But sorry, he gets a great kick in. That's
time and time again being used to stop Kraken impact from that Winter Soldier, since the Earthbound status means that he can't use his Trooper's Fist to re-position.
Very true. Lugia noted for now, but a little bit too far away to actually give chase. In comes the Horn of Proteus. Seems to have mostly missed. Sapati gets caught on the outside. And it seems like Vice might actually just give away the point here for a moment. Oh, Lugia's arrived too late. Gonna have to pop their own ultimate here just to survive the incoming onslaught. Already has lost half of their HP bar. Are they gonna back off back towards their backline? Oh, Newton just arrives from the sky. Sapati disintegrates before the pressure, but Froston's feeling the pressure in their own right as well, as Tree Man has to move on forward inside of a damage boosting aura of the Fate of Both Worlds, where Flora Colossus won't last for long, and only 20% is gained by Dawncore.
Yeah, Baby Bat, that was one-sided Adam Warlock, which means that Froston is instantly going to have Soul Bond for when Vice decide to get aggressive with the Kraken impact.
The Mantis as well. Very rarely we've been able to see her actually be used, despite being the most banned of all of the characters. Sabatic rolling on forward, easily able to get through those squids. Actually wants to move in here onto Lugia. Could be a touch of a bait here. Does get two of the less mobile characters down onto the ground floor. The Vanguards are ready to meet them. Rotterstern starts to pierce on through Sabatic here, and you got to be worried getting close to that frag drop. In comes the Kraken impact, shared out in all of the responsibilities.
Now Dawncore are going to have final judgment to be able to melt through all of Vice, and the Strangling Prison catches them as they try and disengage the Punisher ultimate while holding onto their Luna.
Can Oligator simply reset off the edge, and well, that fights Vamox.
Fast fights, and that means no pressure on Froston, which means we're going to have a comic revival fight up, Harry, when the Atom still has the self-regeneration cocoon. That is not what Vice want to allow to happen.
All right, so it's all about what Dawncore can get forced out in the first half of the fight before they regenerate. Lugia noted on the off angle, working the neutral. Froston manages to dodge away from that exile as well. And you can see there's already a little bit of pressure coming on through onto a point from these Vanguards. Nice dodge of the incoming Force Physics there. Keeps Oligator up on the high ground. Caducean just carving their way through the walls, looking like a lumberjack over there. Big ultimate investment coming on through the Strangling Prison. And the damage on them just throws out spore after spore. The healing wall is up as well. Groot's contributing to the sustain. And there's so little left for the side of Vice. It's just Baby Bat here dancing away, hoping that the party ain't gonna stop Caducean. You better bet that he's back on the Iron Man. Tony Stark has arrived, but Jarvis put a hole in this head right here. The shotgun carves on through. A casualty confirmed. Lugia might be feeling strong and angry, but he's nowhere near the point, and Dawncore claim map number 1.
Oh, Dawncore. Oh, Froston on the Adam Warlock. Knutson.
When it's set up in the backline, it just means that so often Froston would not have to use their life stream to heal up miscellaneous poke on themselves. You know, they can rely on that healing coming on. The Bucky Punisher seems like...
Disengage, which means when the Goddess boost comes through, that damage is going to be sticking around. But Frostin is the hero of the hour on the Winter Soldier. Doesn't matter if his strategists don't have LOS onto him. The second one of those abilities comes out, he gets extra shields on his health bar.
Oligathor got taken so fast in the kidnap, didn't even know where he ended up, just woke up in a fugue state in the spoiler.
Which is going to allow them now to start taking over that high ground, which is going to make it even harder for Frostin on this Torch and Sapatic on the Punisher to find angles when this next fight starts off.
Tim might be looking for a pull here onto Missouri. I'm not sure if they know they... Yeah, here we go. Thank you, observers. But might be able to grab them in. Actually, not going to opt into it this time around. Maybe didn't want to reveal themselves too early in terms of that position. Knuten with the culling turret is able to do a lot of damage to these walls when they're roused up by Tree Man. Up comes a Sonic Seduction, and anyone who gets grabbed is Mythos there with the fate of both worlds, but the fate has been decided by Vice, and it ain't looking good.
This is literally just stage one all over again. Get your Punisher his ultimate, pair it up with a strategist ultimate, pocket the entire duration of it, and you don't even have to worry about a Magneto on the other side because you banned it out. Vice have so much. That damage boost is going to be coming in real handy, but this next fight, it's going to be Baby Bat with this fate of both worlds. Like we talked about, the Groot ultimate is still going to be in play. The Emma's not going to be in play any longer, and oh no! The Emma grabbed the Groot, which means the Strangling Prison gets deducted to 50%.
Oh, and Dawncore have already used so much here, but he's trying to clutch it out, getting in close and personal. Oh, a little bit of an alley-oop there onto Knuten. Yeah, he gives him a little bit of a do-si-do. It's time to fall down on point, though. Casualties abound to just stop the progress of the objective. It do be moving, though. Tree Man's return. Oh, Tree Man actually gave up the half charge as well towards the Strangling Prison to go cap.
No, he got it cancelled. He was the CC'd, so when he swapped to cap...
New York, minus Tree Man, of course, who with the power of democracy is hanging on to the cart. The culling turret will get through this rather quickly. The regen domain is already broken away, though. You can see that both of those clones are blasted on off by the force physics. The next tag comes on in to try and keep this one, but Knuten on the back like a spoiler of the car, a spoiler of dreams more like. Dawncore find themselves capped on rather quickly.
Yeah, Dawncore, they had two opportunities to potentially stop Vice. Vice are going to be done with the Punisher shenanigans. Oleg is going to be swapping over to the Phoenix, Knuten onto the Winter Soldier. We've already seen the effects that the Winter Soldier can bring, both to flyers, but also being able to deal with the Captain America and the Psylocke coming on through.
All right, Shades of Citadel, not quite as successful though. Sapatic already having to disengage as Dawncore, they're just getting this early poke in to get free push on the Fantastica. So we're going to come down on this first point of this fight right here. And Dawncore still need a couple more moments before they have ultimates available for this one. A quick disengage coming on through. Tree Man in the back is creating an attempt at a grab coming through from Knuten, but Dawncore have come alive so fast. They're going to have like 5 minutes, 20 seconds for last now.
And Ken committed invisible boundary on the objective, thinking that Vice with the closer respawns on second would be able to get their duelists back into the fight and manage to win it off of the back of either Kraken Impact or Ensong Inferno, with being it opened up by Lugia's Psionic Seduction. However, they're not even going to use the Emerald ultimate. Lugia is going to be swapping onto the Captain America because they know, like you said, 5 minutes in the time bank for third is an insane amount of time. They need to stall this out.
Oh, a lot in his own right. But look at this. So much space has been grabbed, and there's not much room to walk away if you're Vice. And when you're walking, you're getting into the hot zone already. And it seems like the kitchen's just been opened. Oligator looking to be having his goose cooked over there. Missouri moving on forward. Wants to grab the Invisible Woman. Will a follow-up be there to try up and crush? And now with a fully charged beam, Kizaru just looks towards all the targets that present themselves and decides it's time to get the meat cleaver and start chopping away. Yeah, the Loki's now arrived. But inside the invisible boundary, you don't know where your Lugia is. I'm not sure where to find the legendary bird, but the 3 kids are looking for them, and the 3 kids have managed to heal on through. A little bit of Zapdos magic potentially to keep Lugia in the midst of all of this. Up comes the invisible boundary, but with only one target.
They have to disengage in full all the way back to Fisk's tower, which means that even more time, even more opportunity to lose one of their players early on rotation now goes the way of the defense.
If there's any time for Dawncore to let the devil out, it's got to be now. The armor overload popped by Knuten. The tracking's going to very much be charged. Frosting up in the air. Gonna start spinning things up and spinning them down. Gonna get through that Cosmic Yarn Amplifier real quick there with a Flame Cyclones looking over towards Ken. And that dash towards the spawn point. They managed to make it in a device. Dawncore have naught but seduction on their side. They're gonna need more than a charisma saving throw to make this defense work out well. Knuten has their entire sentience seized and crushed underfoot, but it's the hopes of Dawncore that are going to get crushed in the end, with only a couple of players remaining and a dance to keep them merry in their hearts. The bardic inspiration's flowing, but Sapatic needs more than inspiration. He needs a miracle to carve through what Vice are bringing to the Rocket Raccoon as well. Like you were saying, there are these priorities sometimes where you come back on a strategist because they've got a long cooldown that's going to be useful, like a Soul Bond, a BRB, or a Regeneration, rather than prioritize something like a better strategist out in the long run. They pay dividends.
Yeah, and I mean, the Loki too, the regeneration domains, huge props to Oleg, who was able to come on through and just before Lugia went down on the Captain America, perfectly cast the Doppelganger's position so that you managed to get your regeneration domain. Because at points like that, where you're trying to make sure that the Doppelganger is going to be positioned correctly, if you screw that up and your Captain America goes down...
But of course, they are going to be an attacker spawn, so I'm paying C in this level of play, but does have cleave and is actually great for pocketing Knuten through his more dangerous angles. You can see it coming from the right of your screen right now to make sure that Knuten has the sustainability to make that peek into the massive guns that Dawncore are holding on point with.
He's building up so much damage as well right now.
That they had over on Hydra base just instantly purpled and carved on through. That's going to be the final judgment already used. Reinforced, of course, with a strategist ultimate there behind. Good disengage coming through from Vice Mind. If Lugia can get out of this one scot-free, then they've essentially weathered the storm for free.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing, opening up with that Emma ultimate, because that means that the Pun doesn't have his to try and melt through the Venom. Out comes the Rage of Ultron and its Pulse. Maximum Pulse coming on through from Knuten, combined to take the Angela down, and Dawncore now one Vanguard absent, don't have the strength to deal with another. It's Jeff. Ken sacrifices himself, and finally Vice are able to claim the point in its entirety.
Turn upon Angela, get ulted by Emma Frost and Iron Man, swap off Angela. Flowchart complete.
Dawncore now going to be going erection, so that Vice can't capitalize, but the Iron Man of Knuten, if the Winter Soldier's looking at the Jeff, gets a little bit more room to be able to play, and now that we have the symbiotic shenanigans also as that team of Lugia and Ken to work with, Vice have a little bit more sustainability to that composition that they didn't have before.
Yeah, they can stand on business a little bit harder when they're getting that stream of healing coming through. It's still available in the back as well. Tree Man gets grabbed by Emma Frost and is just confined to an Agathisian prison. Lugia does their best to just blindly fire into the invisible boundary. Oh, great freeze right there. May have messed up the combo when it comes to the efficacy of the ultimate of the Venom. And now he's going to have a little bit of trouble disengaging. Does not want to really commit to this until they get their cellular corrosion back. Saboteur can't really grab too much of them in space in the back of all of this. Knuten ready to go in midair. What an Aegis coming through from the Emma. Great response to the incoming.
Should that damage boost?
All right, Sapatic going to be pushing out so much damage here. Legend in the sights of Lugia decides to go for the middle so they can get the maximum efficacy out of that cellular corrosion. And noticing that there are a couple of platforms that have been erected here by Tree Man. These might have to be dealt with earlier as Lugia Goat sets up yet another dive. A distractionary measure in towards the back. Strategists have to look at each other. A quick perp. A classic counter from the days of Reddit lore. And, still they're going to try and make it work here. No healing behind to try and sustain this ult from Oligator. So the Galactic Legend is going to be in a very perilous position. However, they've already forced out a singular strategist ultimate in the form of that Fate of Both Worlds. Tree Man around the back gets a
plays coming on through from Frost, and that's the second time he's used the activation of Hurricane to dodge out of Ken's. It's Jeff Sapatic as well was able to go for the frame perfect activation of Culling Turret to have the CC immunity to dodge away from his. A classic of stage 1, and that is going to allow Dawncore to finally definitely bag that point, but the amount of time that they have to play with because of how this dive was able to stack.
For Frosted, unfortunately, standing on business, Sapatek drags out the miniguns. It's a brazen attempt here from the side of Lugia to try and carve on through, but unfortunately the tree wants revenge for body blocks previous.
Frosten's well is going to have the Kraken impact, considering Vice went for the It's Jeff early before the Winter Soldier had it online to dodge it. So now they've only delayed the problem, which they're going to have to deal with. But look at where Knuten is. Does Dawncorn
dash with the portal, but unfortunately, I don't think Bro passed his driving test on this one. Frosten's off the map, courtesy of Missouri, and Dawncore are vanquished from Ignite.
in the first fight, Rage of Ultron bolt faster than Eternal Bond?
And that's showing us the generalized mastery of Vice when it comes to not only management of their own resources, but the management of enemy resources as well. It's a well-deserved win.